So I have the most wild story to share with you guys about the house that I purchased in 2021. Yeah, it's a haunted house, and I recently lost it to a flood. The whole house, it flooded for about 4 to 5 days, 27,000 gallons of water. Yeah, my house is destroyed, which is why I'm making this video from Utah, where I live out of my camper. If you've been following me, I've been sharing some very spiritual stories about this whole thing. Has been an extremely spiritual experience, and everything about losing my home, it was meant to be. But last night I was thinking about my house, and if you've been following me, this is something new that I just figured out last night, and this is crazy. Just a quick recap on my house. It is haunted. There's a man in the house, there's a woman in the house, and I truly believe there's also another girl in the house. And the girl in the house is the one I've had the most experiences with. Now, mind you, I'm also a professional medium and an intuitive health medium. Everything I do is spiritual. So when I first saw this house, I immediately knew I had to have it because it felt very broken. It felt very traumatized, and I couldn't wait to move in and see what type of stories were going to be in these walls. Well, after I moved in, my house, all sorts of stories came to me. It was crazy. But one of the most profound stories is one that I share in my book called The Collision of Me, which my neighbors who were no longer next door, they've since moved, but they had a son who was mentally insane. And after 3 months of harassing me, trespassing on my property, trying to break into my home, he did come into my home on Mother's Day evening, and he strangled me in my kitchen. It was horrifying. There was more going on because in the next year and a half after the attack, the family moved, but I lost all 3 of my dogs over that last year and a half because of the different stress issues that they had. One had PTSD, one, her health immediately started declining, and the other one had a seizure, and over a year and a half, they all 3 passed away. More trauma in the walls. So in one of my videos, I talked about how I knew that my house was cleansing itself through the flood. It happened 3 months after I went out to Utah for the winter, and it flooded for about 5 days. And everything's gone. The ceilings, the walls, everything in the house is gone. And I was okay with it because I could tell my house spiritually, it was cleansing itself of all that trauma so I could have my home and have my peace. What's so crazy is a few weeks ago, prior to the flooding, I was sitting in my camper in Utah just kind of meditating and thinking about my house, and I was talking to the girl, I was talking to the man. I'm a medium, that's what I do. And I was connecting, and I was like, I just wish I knew 100% that you were real, because I would figure out why you're still in my house. Before I could finish my thought, my camper lights shut off, you guys. They literally dimmed down and they shut off. And what's so crazy is my stove light stayed on, which is on the same circuit breaker as those lights. So I knew it was an electrical issue with my camper. So I immediately reached out to my friend because it absolutely freaked me out, because I'm in Utah and I 100% know that was the energy of my house. It was the girl reaching out, and I freaked out because my camper lights shut off. They came back on. It was crazy. So I messaged my friend and I tell her the whole story. Okay, that was February 16th. And I tell her the whole story, and she's like, maybe it was the circuit breaker. We kind of talked back and forth. Everything in my camper was fine. There were no reasons for those lights to go out. Here's what's so crazy. Are you ready for this? This is absolutely crazy. So I'm sitting in my camper and I'm just kind of talking to my house because now she's gone. The flood has happened. They're tearing down drywall. They're tearing down the ceilings. Everything's gone. And I'm just telling her, thank you for cleansing yourself. And I'm just talking to my house. It's something I do as a spiritual person. I talk to my house. And I started thinking about it, and I'm like, wait a minute. I remember the conversation I had with my friend. The night that my lights went out in my camper when I was talking to my house was the weekend my house was flooding. It was the same day. So yeah, needless to say, I am so excited to get back to my house and get it rebuilt because it will be brand new. Energetically, spiritually, and physically, it'll be a completely brand new house. Every single traumatic experience that were in those walls is gone. I get to have my house back. I get to have my peace back. And I'm here for it. I can't freaking wait to get home.